I was born December 26, 1943. My name is Ceilia, and the reason that my first name is Ceilia, and the reason it's chosen, it's because that's my paternal grandmother's name. In Eagle Pass, I was born in Eagle Pass, Texas. Pardon me?
What are the names of your parents?
Oh, my father's name is Victor, and my mother's name is Hortensia. My God, do you know, I think that my mother's mother had a little store, and he stopped by to get something to drink. My father stopped by my mother's house, my mother's little store, to get something to drink. Yes, I got 3 brothers and 3 sisters. I went to elementary school in Eagle Pass, Texas, and the name of the school was Robert E. Lee. I went to, what is the second after that? No. Because we had first, second, and third, and then we had fifth, sixth. What would that? Middle school. To in Eagle Pass, Texas, to Stephen F. Houston, and then I went to Eagle Pass High School, junior high, and Eagle Pass High School. I didn't like school. But PE. Where I went to school, we did not graduate with like here, that you go to school and you get so many credits for so many things. Over there, 1 credit, you had to go to school 4 years for 1 credit, and that was really, really hard, because it seemed like we only needed 17 credits to graduate, but it took a long time. Mm-hmm. Oh yes, as a matter of fact, I still see a couple of them. Yes.
What were the names?
Carmen and Imelda and Gracie. Gracie passed away already. And Carmen, Imelda, and Marie Mack, yes. Well, normally play hide and, play in the middle of the street, because it was a very small town, and we would play baseball in the middle of the street, or hide and seek in the evening. Oh God, at that time the petticoats, or what you would wear, I don't know, you know what a petticoat is. Okay, you would wear maybe 2 or 3 petticoats, and your skirt would extend like this, like in the 50s. Yeah, play hide and seek, and play in the middle of the street baseball, and we would put also little plays together, and I don't remember very much, but I mean, we had a good time. We really, really had a good time. I just cannot specifically remember everything. Yes, well, this was while we were in school, and like for lunch we would go to this place called the Dairyland, and we would get a hamburger and fries and Coke for 25 cents. And at the same time they had the jukebox going, or at that time I think it was called the record player going at all times, and everybody was dancing while they were eating their hamburger, and then walked back to school. Oh yeah, we would wear the petticoats. And I mean, if you see today, you even see it on movies, the girls with the very, very big skirts and petticoats underneath. Okay, and that was very common, because they didn't let us wear pants to go to school. We could not wear jeans to school. We could only wear dresses, so that would be the thing, And like I said, I'm pretty sure you've seen it, on television or movies from that era, where all the girls are wearing these petticoats, and when they twist it around, you could see their petticoats hanging out. But you would wear like 3 or 4 petticoats, not just one. Well, at the time it was rock and roll. I don't know. I never cared to do choir, All I know was rock around the clock and that kind of a thing, Long Tall Sally. Let me try to think. It was rock and roll, Good old time rock and roll, yeah. Yes, we would go to the movies on Sundays. I saw the 10 Commandments with Charlton Heston. I saw God, till this day, some of them are favorites of mine. But right now, I cannot remember per se, because we used to go every Sunday to the movies. I, believe it or not, I played basketball, and I played baseball and volleyball. And I'm pretty sure there were others that I cannot remember right now. Victor, my husband was born in 1941, and he was born in Piedras Negras, Coahuila, Mexico. But he was brought to the United States very young, and he lived in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's where he went to school. We met in high school in 1960. We kind of didn't. We would just meet at school and that's it, We got married in Piedras Negras because we were underage. And we got married, and he went home and I went home. Because we were going to move from Eagle Pass. My mother was going to move to San Antonio, which San Antonio is a big a city in Texas. And my husband says, well, let's get married. And that way it was like an engagement type of a thing.
What year was that?
1961. No. Well, I mean, I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of favorites, especially what I talk to my grandchildren about. But I can't think. I know there's so many of them. He was a very, very funny person. Not even meaning to be. He would come up with things that would make you laugh sometimes till you thought, I cannot laugh anymore. And he was a very kind person. There's a lot of favorites. Unfortunately, right now, I cannot pinpoint and remember those. Be kind to each other. Do for your partner or your spouse what you would want done for you. Things that make you happy and that you could share with that person. Don't be greedy, and I'm not talking about food, money, or anything. Don't be greedy with your friendship. My oldest son was born in 1960, at the end 61. My middle child, which is another male, was 62, and then my daughter, who is the youngest, was born in 1965 in California, Van Nuys. The oldest is Victor Manuel Flores. The middle child, which is Ricardo Adolfo Flores, and then my daughter, which is Veronica Marie Flores. Very much. All of a sudden, things were very serious. I eat food. I learned to have food ready at a certain time because the baby had to eat at a certain time. Especially cleanliness, it was very important because you could not have a dirty spoon or a dirty plate or whatever. I became in my mind, a very responsible person. My favorite holiday was, because anymore I don't. My children are kind of, one moved to Arizona, and I myself spent a lot of time in Arizona, but different places. My son is in Phoenix, and I am in Fort Mojave. And pardon me, what was the question?
Your favorite holiday?
Oh, okay. Anyway, but my favorite holiday is Christmas. My mother was very patient with us, and what patience as I got, I learned it from her. My father and mother were separated when I was a little girl, so therefore I don't know a lot about my father. This I learned to different completely. When we used to ask my mother if we could do something, and she would say no, we would say, but why? And her answer was, because I'm your mother. And I learned that I would not do that with my children. When they would ask me why, I would try to give the answer as good as possible, but to let them know that they were still little human beings. And whatever they needed to do counted. It was important to them, so it was important to me too. Love, kindness, and to live a good, clean life. And I mean in the sense, that they don't use drugs, that they do not go and take advantage of others. Yes, Veronica Marie is my first granddaughter. No, who is Jessica. Jessica Marie, when she was born in 1988. My second grandchild is Emily Rose, and she was born in Canoga Park. And then Jacob Alexander was born here in Granada Hills. And who else is next, Veronica? Jacob. I guess Veronica was next, and she was born in where were you born, Veronica? In Tarzana. And then my twin granddaughters were born also in Tarzana. I do not remember the year. And then, who's next, Veronica? Yeah, Victoria and Valentina. But I forgot to mention, those are the grandchildren, right? And I mentioned Emily Rose. And Jessica, yeah, okay, yes. And the very last one is Victor, who is the youngest. Victor the third, right? Yes. About sending them home when the day is over. I can have all the fun I want with them, and if I'm too tired, I can send them home. That's the best. No. Loving them. It's a lot of fun having grandchildren. When I was little, I wanted to be a teacher, but once I got to high school, I did not think too much about teaching, and I don't remember much about that, but because I was married for 57 years, so there was no career. I think in the early 1950s, there was a big, big flood in Eagle Pass. And I remember seeing things on the river that the flood had taken, and it really left a very, very bad impression on my on my little heart and head, you know. So that was it, and it was, like I says, in the early 1950s, and it was in Texas, in Eagle Pass, Texas. Yes. Yes, our house. We had a house in Reseda. Um, it had to be around 1964, and our house got burned, and it was a horrible, horrible experience. My husband got burned; his hand got burned, and he had to go to was in the hospital for a couple of days, and it was something that I'll never ever forget, because I remember running out of the house barefooted, and as a matter of fact, it had to be 1965 because I was pregnant with my daughter, my only daughter. And yes, it was a horrible, horrible experience. I could see the way the fire, the reason that there was the fire is because my husband was painting the kitchen. Apparently, there was a lot of lacquer thinner, and something happened where a spark came out of the switch, and it caught on fire. It exploded. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it was the worst thing that I had ever seen. Because my husband was sick for 25 years before he died, I did not make a bucket list. But one thing that I wanted to do, which I did get to go to Rome, okay? But I want to go to France, and I want to go to Spain, and I want to go to Germany. And I want to go see the Eiffel Tower and the Holy Land. Okay? Those are the things on my bucket list that I would love to get to do those things. I regret not being kinder to my husband. I was too easy to get in a bad mood whenever. When I was too busy to tend to him. And I wish I would have been nicer. Because he was a very good person. Very, very, very good person. Seeing my kids grow, seeing my kids grown. And even though it's not all my accomplishment, it's part, half of it theirs. But as for the guidance, that I feel that the guidance that I gave him was good. I'm not gonna flatter myself and say very, but it was good. Live with each day with a clear conscience, and being by that, being able to also pass on that to my children and grandchildren, and now great-grandchildren. Oh yes, and I never thought I was going to get to be a great-grandmother. As a matter of fact, when I go see my husband at the cemetery, I tell him, I made it. We made it as great-grandparents. Can you imagine that? I think we might make it to be great-great-great-great-grandparents. It's a kind and loving person. Fair, kind and loving, yes. Don't be in a hurry to get there. I mean, even now I keep telling everybody that I'm already packed, ready to go, because it's boring. Life is boring. So, just to take your time. Oh God, yes. As I told you, I was born and raised in Texas, and there you would see you see the racial problems that were there. I mean, you never saw the Hispanics mixing with the white people. Never, ever. I remember one day, because we used to be able to go to Mexico walking, because all we had to do was cross a bridge, and I would say it would be like from here to the to Balboa, okay? So it was not a big deal. And I remember we're coming back, and what do they call the people there that are checking if you're an American citizen? I can't think of their name. Anyway, so he asked me where were you born, but when he asked me, he was very, very nasty. And I remember that he made me cry. And he says, well, do you know so-and-so? And I'm pretty sure I knew him, because it was a little town. You knew everybody, But after he made me cry, he didn't know how to make it up to me. Okay, but you could tell that he was a racist from the word go. And I remember it being such a bad experience, and my mother could not do anything for me because of the racism that was there at the time. And like I said, in school, whether you were in kindergarten or in high school, the white people did not mix with the Hispanics. We didn't have any blacks, but we had Hispanics. I did not consider myself a person of color, So therefore, that they made it very clear. No, you're Caucasian, okay? That's what they called us. So if we had to fill up any application, that's the way it went.
Oh, really?
So that's why I'm saying I did not consider myself that, but yet you could see the racism between the Hispanics and really all they were was just hillbillies. Okay, nothing but very uneducated, because because you went to school, that doesn't mean that that you know how to handle yourself with education, okay? And like I said, to me, they were just a bunch of hillbillies. No, at the time there were none. Honest, we haven't moved. Mm-mm. One of my favorite sayings is that after they bought this country where we are the main residents, okay? They bought it for a nickel. And now we're treated as if this was theirs. And one of the things that I tell people all the time, especially when somebody's arguing with me about race, okay? I'll tell them, Los Angeles, okay? Granada Hills, and if you know what Granada Hills means, okay? If it was the other way around, it would be the Angels, and it would be Pomegranate Hills, okay? And it's something that it's very hard for a lot of people, especially like my grandchildren, that they've never seen that, but yet I've seen it, and that's one of the things that I don't argue with people, but when they ask me, I'll tell them. Especially if they think that they were here first, they were not, okay? My relatives were here first. That you feel that that you're not, well, not me, but I see a lot of people that I can see, because I used to help these people all the time if they asked me to write a letter or to read a letter for them or whatever. And you're a minority, or supposedly we're not a minority, okay? There's more of us than there are of them, but that they themselves put you, that you can be put so low to feel there's more of them, so therefore they get the biggest piece of cake, they get the bigger piece of cake, okay? I think that's the easiest way to explain it. Or that because you're a little bit darker than they are, that when somebody slaps you or kicks you, that it doesn't hurt. That I want them to understand that if you kick me or if you bite me or if you hit me, it's gonna hurt just as much as it would hurt them. That not because I'm a little bit darker than they are, and in our case, you and I could compare it because you're a little bit lighter than I am, but it doesn't make you better. That I speak both languages and I can understand very well either language. I speak fluent Spanish and I speak fluent English.